All right. Gonna do a live replay review for Ford of his week 2 ZVT replays. I'm gonna wait a little bit for people to hop on the stream. So it may take a while for this to get started. Okay. So we have Ford down here as the purple Zerg and the Terran player up here in blue. So right off the bat, I can tell you that you want to do a better job of optimizing which patches you mine to first. I posted this in the channel, but like just kind of common sense wise, you want to start mining from these 4 patches first, these 5 patches first, before you start mining to other patches. These are the 5 fastest patches. Then this is the slowest patch, and then in the middle are these patches. Some of these patches have like enhanced mining optimizations that you have to do manually. So every time, like this patch has one, every time you go up here, you have to hit return minerals, like about in the middle, from what I remember from someone's video, to get it to mine faster. But then these 2 middle ones have mining optimizations where if you set the drone up, like this is good. This drone is in a good position. This one is not. If you set this drone up to return to the corner of the hatchery right here, it turns around very fast. You see how fast that turns around? Now look at this one. This one is going to the middle of the patch and it is going a lot slower. So if you put the guy down here and it starts going to the corner down here, like I think it's right there, then you get like an automatic mining boost. This kind of stuff is important um, just to get faster early building placements, and really for players like anyone that's not like an amateur in the foreign scene, like a strong amateur in the foreign scene, shouldn't be worrying about the manual boosts. Like you don't really need to do the manual boosts to play well, but you should be sending to the correct patches to begin with. Um, Otherwise, you're gonna have a bad time. Well, you're just gonna be slower. It's gonna throw your entire build off, and that's why usually people are asking, why do I have a 120 overpool instead of a 115 overpool or a little bit faster? That's why. So I missed a bunch of this. Let's go back. So I was talking about mineral optimizations, but um, I think that's been feedback for like every single person. So I'm just going to really hammer it down. So let's see what's happening here. Let's actually hide the vision of the Terran player and see how scouting went. What kind of information we got gleamed here. So what do we see here? We saw we saw this SCV here. Maybe you saw the SCV on the mini map. Can I make him go red? We'll see in a second if I can make him go red. So if you didn't know, you can do, when you're playing a match and the colors just suck, like your opponent is like the dark gray that you don't see on the minimap, you can hit Shift Tab and it will make him red on the minimap. At least if you're in melee mode, it'll do that. I think in top versus bottom, it's always red, and on ladder, sometimes you need to do it. Well, that's a good tip to make sure that when the opponent has sucky colors, that at least on the mini map they're in red. So we're going up here. We're not exactly sure where the Terran player is yet, because even though you saw the SCV there, they could have really early scouted because they're doing some kind of cheese or something. So they're not here. We know they're up here. They're putting our Overlord over here, and then we're taking our drone. This Overlord could be a little bit over here. A little bit like you're seeing that he's got a supply depot here. We're seeing a single Marine, but we don't see the CC timing because the Overlord is back here. Let's see what the CC timing is. I'm guessing it's going to be a 330 CC, right? He's trying to get that Overlord, but he doesn't have range yet. So, it's a 343 CC. So what is he going for? He's just going for mech facts. So he it's just late. I think he made an extra supply depot before starting his CC. That's why it was the 15 seconds late. Usually, I think you only have one supply depot and a little bit less Marines. Like this is perfectly walled off. I think it's perfectly walled off. Now that I look at it, I'm not sure if Lynx can get by here, but I feel like they shouldn't be able to get by here. Um, So this is a mech opening. Like you should have had enough information to glean that it was a mech opening. And hopefully that write-up I did in the channel today, where I talked about CC timings, should be enough to glean that it's a mech opening. So let's see how you respond. It's hide vision, kill the scouting SCV pretty easy. Um, this is a little bit too many lings. If you're, I guess, no, I guess this is okay. Because you didn't see the CC, might as well send some lings over here. Okay, you pulled off too many lings. Okay, now you see the vulture. When you see this, you get caught off guard by a mech. Like, you need to put down a sunken colony ASAP, and get ready to drone drill. So we're not really spending our money. We got a lot of larvae here, a lot of larvae here. I think we're focusing a little bit too much on lings. So we have a lair, but we're really under drones. I think you were going for lurkers, right? It looks like. Yeah, so that's correct. You took a really long time to microverse that, so that did buy us time. Go sunken colony. Let's see if yep, good here, very good. Too many sunken colonies. You only want one, and then you want a sim city, just like I showed you in the. Yeah, the positioning maybe wasn't the best, but then you had a lot of lings. So from the early game, um, what can we learn from the early game? He's going mech. In this situation where you already open lurkers and you found out about the mech later, you can try for a lurker bust. Mech is Mech is open to a lurker bust, and the reason it's open to a lurker bust is because Mech gets a comsat station very late, and the engineering bay for the turrets are going to be placed anti-muta because the Terran is going to be playing you blind. It's like usually this Hydra Den, you don't put it in your wall, right? Like even if you do put it in your wall, you're putting both the Hydra Den and the Spire in your wall if you're going both. But usually this is hidden, so they don't know where you're going, and they're playing blind. They had that's like the biggest weakness of mech. They don't know where you're going to be going. Um, so in this situation, in this game state, I would actually try to go lurk all in because I think you could probably do a lot of damage to him. Let's see how this plays out. So you'd probably be hitting at around 7 minutes. Like if we were doing this, like if we had made those drones earlier, it would have obviously gotten us started earlier. Let's see where this goes. You also made a lot of lings. Lings aren't that good without verse mech unless they have tech units with them. So unless they have some lurkers or they have some muta with them, and then they do well. So I see he's going Goliath. You're going to base Hive. So yeah, this is I mean, it's not the best. It's just not the best opening for against mech. Um, You're probably gonna survive because you're gonna have defilers out, but really versus mech, you need to get that economy going. It looks like you are going for that. Like I will say that these are a little bit late. These lurkers are little bit late. So usually when you open up lurker, either reverse bio or reverse mech, you're trying to get a soft contain up, and you want to get that soft contain up a lot earlier. Like I'm usually busting between 7 and 8 minutes with two groups of lings and like an entire group of lurkers. So you can see you're quite behind. So maybe what we want to work on is for homework is I'll put together some build criteria, homework criteria for just opening all in lurker. Um, because with that kind of opening, like an all in lurker opening, you can easily not all in lurker scale it back and kind of do the opening that um, Martinius did in his week one games, where he did a two hatch lurker opening, put a soft contain on the Turan, and then went three base, three hatch, hive into defilers. But that was also versus bio, so it's a little bit different. So your build is a little bit inefficient here. Um, we can definitely clean that up with doing some more homework, the same as we're doing for ZVP. So I'll try to get that up maybe later this week. Let's see what else we're going. Getting our upgrades going, that's great. Getting our Spire here, that's great. Going to take losing vision here, lost the Overlord here, so now we're playing blind. We don't have that many units. Defiler, yeah, there we go, Defiler. Yeah, like you can see here, you don't really have that many units. So something here, there are definitely some build optimizations, improvements that you can work on here. So like macro is definitely one thing that's holding you back. Um, you should have more lurkers. You should have this many drones, but earlier, and this should be up faster. So let's see what happens. Consume's going. So I'm guessing what's going to happen is you're going to survive a little bit, but then he's just going to overwhelm you. That's just the mech way. If you don't play, like, really go into economics on it. Yeah, he's gonna shoot you down. Right. Well, you have some questions in the chat. Let me read those. I think the CC was late because he didn't do the gas cut. Yeah, that's also possible that he didn't do the gas cut. So for Turan players, if you're opening mech, after you start the factory, you take all of SCVs off of gas and put them on minerals because you want to make the CC as fast as possible. And you don't really start Goliaths until later, like Army and Goliaths until later, because you're only trying to get the vultures out to make sure you're safe against ling busts. So if Mauritanius noticed that he was still mining gas, that may be another potential reason why he didn't get the CC up earlier. So Ford, unfortunately, the feedback here on this game is um, we need to take a look at your build and work on getting the build a lot more solid in the early game. Um, so one part of that is doing a different build when you're going up against mech, and the other part of it is if you get caught off guard and you end up going into this opening, which is the two hatch lurker opening, then something was off about your build where a lot of your timings were slower than they should have been. But I think the only way to really get that better is to do some single player practice to get that down. You have the APM for it. I mean, I'm barely playing around 120 APM, so we have the same APM. So I definitely think you can do it. You can handle it. Let's bop out of this replay and let's go into the second replay. Feel free to ask questions too. I am actually watching the chat now. Where's Mac? Oh, you may be asking also questions on Discord. Da da da. No, no questions here. Okay, let's go back into the second game. Where's my Ford folder? There we go. Game two. Let's get the chat back up. There we go. Yeah, you have to hit it pretty early. Um, you're probably gonna want to hit it with like 4 or 5 lurkers. So you definitely hit it earlier than you hit it with you definitely hit it earlier than you hit it with playing against Bio. Because usually versus Bio, they're gonna like figure out what you're doing and put up 3 bunkers. So if you want to all in, you want to really build up lurkers so you can burst down. So you can get to 12 lurkers and 2 groups of lings. So one group of ling, 1 bunker, another group of ling, 1 bunker, and then the lurkers are really bursting down the third bunker. And then dealing with all the marines that are left. And usually you're in this situation where you're going to have like a bunch of lurkers left. Um, and usually no lings left. So if you're doing the 3 hatch version of the all-in, then you're ling flooding after that. You're trying to get your lurkers up the ramp and ling flooding. With this, it's a little bit trickier because you need to hit earlier. So you're gonna have a mixed bag of units that they're gonna be defending with. They're gonna have like maybe 1 or 2 vultures. They're gonna have a bunker with marines, and they're gonna have maybe 1 or 2 Goliaths at this point. But they're not going to have scans, and they may have a turret. So the micro for busting mech is trying to kill the turret if it's there. If they do have scans, then they're only going to have 2 scans, and hopefully they wasted those scans on scanning your base. So you may luck out there. So it's going to be like it's an analog to opening. I'm not watching the replay again because I'm asking Martinez's questions. So let's pause this. It's going to be an analog of opening fast DT versus like in PVT, pretty much. Like you're either going to catch them off guard or you're not going to catch them off guard. If you see the attack is not going to succeed because they have a lot more units than you're expecting, it's better to back off and just soft contain them and play from there. And then you probably want to from there you probably want to be already setting up your third base. Like one thing I do poorly with a lurker all in that I showed you is I made that third hatch at my natural. I probably should be making that third hatch even when I'm all inning at a third base, so I have the option to kind of back out. Yeah, yeah. You wanna hit earlier and target the turret if you want to go for the all in. Okay, I'm guessing they're gonna have a turret and not gonna have scans. But some Terran players like having scans instead of turrets, although that doesn't really make sense now that I say it because they need to deal with the early muta. So yeah, like I'm pretty sure they're just gonna have a turret, maybe a couple turrets in their natural, the anti-muta turrets. That actually used to be like people used to do 2.5 as well, um, a lot to do the lurker bust or to do like a muta ling all in versus mech because mech is very fickle at the start before you get that Goliath build up, that initial Goliath build up. So you could probably get a lot of like if your timings are tight, your 2 hatch timings are tight, and you're doing like a 2.5 muta 2.5 hatch muta build along with lings, then you could also do a bust on the Terran player if they don't have enough turrets. Or if you get a really good engage by their ramp, like their turrets, like it's a weird natural and their turrets are more by their mineral line, and you get a really good engage with the muta like on top of the ramp, the lings under their ramp, fighting the Goliaths in their natural, and then run up immediately on top of their factories, you can all in them that way too. So let's see what's going on here. Let's go back. Let's look at the scouting. Let's hide the Turan player. Let's start this from. So this Overlord path, I'm not I'm not too happy with this Overlord path. You really need to be going to their natural, so you should be going like in a diagonal down here into their natural. And how do I show the entire map here? Right, well, this drone's gonna show it. So this map, oh, you wanted it for drops, so it was already explored. Oh, okay, because yeah, this is the game you were talking about where you wanted to go fast drops. Okay. Um, so if you're not doing that, then there on this map you have terrain here and terrain here. So you want to avoid losing this to like an 8-racks, you would send your overlord in a way that it's like over these ledges to kind of give it as much shelter as possible. And then you get kind of in this crappy area where it's very big, wide, and open. So sometimes I even see pros like going around here. Like once they get to the point where there are no more ledges, they kind of go around before they go over the natural, just so they don't lose that overlord to early Marines. All right, so let's keep going. Let's see what this counting looks like. I mean, does this block an SCV? Let's see. No, it does not. A single drone does not block an SCV here. Oh, but you got into his base, and you are 100% sure that he scouted that he has a mech. Um, can you get out of his base? Let's see if you got in before. Let's go, so I don't miss this. It's just a bad wall. You could ling all in him right now. Um, yeah, I mean, we saw in the previous game that his vulture micro wasn't that good, so you could just ling all in him here, because his wall is bad. Yeah, yeah, like you may not be comfortable doing this, but I'm pointing out stuff that like Zerg is also very good at punishing people's mistakes. Well, no walls and bad walls. It's strong against, especially versus mech. It is not strong against people that are very good at Voltron Micro. So for people that are higher tiers, you probably don't want to speedlink bust against mech because a terrain player with better Voltron Micro is just going to deal with you, and they're going to plug this hole with an SCV, and you're going to just die because you didn't drone. There's another question I feel in here. Okay, just a comment from Martin. Man, when I see you guys together, Martinius and Marting, like I just find it so awesome that you guys have such a similar name. It's like a theme for the team. Everyone should have Martin in their name. All right, so you know it's mech. You know that he has a bad wall. You have your overlord here. Yeah, this is okay. Maybe I was a little bit too harsh on the overlord path. Do you have this like pool of dead dinosaurs here, and it's okay. Oh man, I'm getting excited. Is the vulture out yet? Ugh. You can kill these marines with these. Do you have link speed? Yeah, the vulture's not out yet, man. Ah, you should have killed him. Yeah, so did not do a good job of informing you how to scout for mech, so I apologize. But you are all the wiser now. So my expectation is now that you will know that it's mech the next time you play. Oh yeah, kill it. Kill these marines too. So yeah, are you gonna go for it? You could go for it. Yeah, don't go for that CV. Kill the marines first. Like you had 6 lings, that cleans up 3 Marines easily. Like even though they're slow, if you had, it's good that you sniped this SCV, but I think you could have killed all 3 of those Marines and sniped the SCV. So a little bit bad picking of targets, I think. Let's see what we're doing here. Much better usage. It looks like much better usage of larva. Well, there were 6 eggs at once, so maybe it wasn't like optimal. You're going for an all-in. You're going for a drop. Like this is weird to me, right? So you're going for a drop, but at the same time you made a lot of lings. Um, so oh, and you're going for a drop, and I don't see drop upgrades going. So that was the decision to go drop later? I don't know how much of a delay I'm on. I don't know how bad my network is. Okay. Yeah, so there is actually a drop build in the Bag of Builds channel. Um, it's probably my connection is bad. We're only on like a 10-second delay, so it's fine. So there is on Bag of Builds there is a drop build, and that drop build opens either 9 pool or overpool into drop or something like that. I think the 9 pool is to try to catch the Terran off guard, but you don't need to do it that way. But yeah, if you want to go drop, you need to start researching drop upgrades. So you want to go for drop first. You don't go for speed first. You go for drop first. We'll see what you go for. Um, you're gonna be gas starved. So I think even for drop builds, you may want to get a faster second gas to have the yeah, like it's unclear to me. Um, if I'm thinking about it, how it lines up with what I think about for like a 2 hatch, 2.5 hatch all in, when you pop, when the layer pops, you have just enough gas, maybe 100 more gas, just to get lurker upgrade. So in order to be able to afford lurker upgrade and drops at the same time, you would have to skip speed. So the build would have to look like that. You would have to skip length speed. You'd have to get lurker upgrade and drop upgrade at the same time as soon as layer is finished. You probably want to open with a sunken, and you want to drone a little bit harder. You want to have the overlord in a good spot, so that's great. Because you don't have link speed, you probably don't want to go heavy on lings. And then as soon as you have the next gas, like 25 gas, you want to make Hydra and put them down here, like move them out earlier. But against Mech, they're going to have the Vulture up front here. So I don't know if you're going to get away with that. They're going to see the Hydra moving out anyway, but maybe they'll not interpret it correctly, and they'll think they're going for like a Hydra bust or something. Yeah, it's a slow drop. Um, I think it'd do better versus bio because lurkers are generally better versus bio in low amounts. So you drop down here and probably position like here under the gas so that, or you can position behind the mineral line, behind the mineral line, like down in the corner, the bottom right corner behind the mineral line. Then you have a really good angle to both try to kill some SCVs, and the Marines coming in are going to have a crappy angle to try to deal with that if they're going bio. And that's going to be like where's Lurkers at? Yeah, it's going to be like pre 7 minutes. Maybe the drop will come in. It's not like they're probably going to be moving out with their bioforce. or maybe over here. Yeah, I don't know how it would play out. You may have to go an overpull build. I'm just like thinking about what the best way to line this up with for a slow drop with would be. I think you'd have to. I think that's why the build on Bag of Builds is a 9 pool build or an overpool build because it gets faster gas just to have the faster slow drop. I wouldn't slow drop versus mech anyways. I would go for the bust because that will be stronger. You're gonna have more lurkers if you don't get the drop upgrade. You get the surround on the vulture. You have a lot of lings. Let's see. Let's see where he's at. Let's see what you do. Ah, yeah. How many does he have in here? You got 4 in here. You're not gonna do much, and he's got a vulture. Yeah, so he countered this. Running in here is just losing lings at this point. Um, and you're really low drone count. Right, so I think opening wise, this goes back. You don't need the second sunken. You just want a SimCity here, which I talked about in the live stream, the earlier live stream. So yeah, I think both these games just come down to not knowing how to play versus mech, and you're not playing poorly because I've seen your other replays, the ones that you showed me. I know you can play well versus bio. It's just that you did a build anti-bio build. I'm not gonna continue watching the replay. I mean, we can see when the drop comes, just to see the timing of it. Third base going. Yeah, if you want a slow drop, you really want. Here are the lurkers. No, they're just burrowing here. If you want to do a slow drop, it has to hit earlier because, um, especially versus mech, because at that point they're just gonna be overpower you. It's gonna be a fast drop or like a big drop. Yeah, Um, lurker stacking doesn't. Lurker stacking is versus bio, specifically versus bio, and the reason it's versus bio is because, well, what are you countering with lurker stacking? You're countering irradiate, not really even the bio force. You're countering irradiate, and then you're putting an overlord um, on top of the lurkers so that when they do irradiate, they're going to irradiate the overlord first. So if they're going mech, they're going to have scan and tanks and Goliaths. Yeah, go check out Shiba's pin post in the Zerg channel. He has a very quick video showing how to stack with patrol. It does take timing, right? Because you have to patrol and then immediately hit. Or it's either stop or hold. I forget what it is. Like some of this stuff I don't even know how to do because I do it automatically. If that makes sense, like I've just done it so many times, I need to really think about what I'm actually doing. It's just muscle memory at some point. Um, so did I miss the drop? I think I missed the drop. All right, well, yeah, I mean, got Hydra going. This is a little bit better than the other game. Oh, now you're going. Okay. This is a little bit. Oh, but it's slow. Um, it's a slow drop. So, like, if you're going for this kind of drop right now, you want to have Overlord speed. Ah, there it comes. Okay. Let me hide this and the replay panel. Where's the replay panel? Ah, but now I Can't start it. Yeah, so you want to like drop here. So by the time you burrow, he's trying to run his SCVs, right? You like trap him. If you drop here, then he has time to run away his SCVs away. And tanks really do good. And he has a vessel too. So it was just too late to drop first mech. All right, it's 1 a.m. I think that's all I'm gonna be doing for today. I can take another couple of questions. Everyone good on questions? Okay. Yeah, if anything, just ask him in the chat. Okay. Yeah, just put it in the chat later if you remember it. Yeah, don't get sad, man. I've been playing this game for 20 years and I still suck. So gotta have, you gotta put everything into perspective.